computer. It's recording. Live on Facebook. I should pay more attention because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to put this up on YouTube in the beginning as always. It's fine. People love it.
You'll get there.
I crack myself up all the time. It's just like this beautiful thing where you get to learn how to do new things, and there's always like a learning curve, and you're just like, wait, what? uh,
Very familiar with that one.
the not, no, great place to start. Um, so, going live. How does it look on your side?
Okay, so yes, meeting is now streaming live.
Ta-da!
Worked.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Horsepower Empowerment Through Connection. Today, I'm here with Tim Snell. Obviously, I'm Elysia Buss. My name is at the bottom of the screen. Being in a very goofy mood this morning, apparently. Tim Snell is here from London, England, in the United Kingdom. And I'm so excited to get to work with him today. And he's going to be bringing us a breathwork Soma activity. So Tim is a leadership and life coach, and he is a Soma awakening instructor and works on embodied awakenings, and just really empowering people and connecting them to their emotions and their body. And I'm actually going to let him explain that more in depth because there's just so much to it. I think it's really cool, and it's a little bit different than what we usually bring to the show. So Tim, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to connect
Thank
and
you.
bring this work to a different audience.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of audience, do you have it on your side for your
I
people?
I do actually. I've posted it into my own community, so I can see it's live there.
Cool. So we get to, this is our global experience, ladies and gentlemen, because we're in two different countries right now.
Two different
And whoever else might
countries,
be watching,
and
since we
yeah,
have people, friends all over the world, right?
absolutely, and a community that spans across Europe and South America as well. So this is cool.
I love it. So, Tim, tell us more about what you do in your coaching business and the work with Soma.
Okay, so thank you. The coaching business is really a combination of life and leadership coaching. So I work with people in leadership roles as part of one part of what I do, and I almost feel like that's separate to some of the work that I do, which is more around breath work and life coaching. So my background was actually corporate, working in a corporate organization for 20 years. And stepping into coaching was really my path towards doing what I really love to do, which is helping people find their potential, reach their potential, and grow both professionally and personally. And I get equal satisfaction out of working in an organizational context as I do working with people on some of the more personal issues.
Love
And then
it.
Soma Breath kind of adds a whole new dimension to that because it's really about getting people out of the head and into the body. And it's also when you combine that with some of the energy healing work that I do and some of the diamond light sort of numerology or diamond light healing, which is just another modality you can layer across. The different combinations that you can work with Soma Breath are almost endless. So I know people who are using Soma Breath with yoga. I know some people who are doing it with other healing modalities. I mix it with energy healing and sort of mindset shift.
Excellent. Do you know anybody that has integrated it with horses?
Not yet, but I do know somebody down in Atlanta who is very, very close to horses, very interested in horse rescue, and she's on the path to becoming a Soma Breath instructor right now.
Fantastic. Well, maybe we'll have to connect with her later.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So what, like, what populations do you usually work with? Like, aside from corporate?
I'd love it. I hear this a lot in the coaching world about find your niche. really niche down into a group of people and work with that group of people. But if I'm really honest with you, the people who come to work with me are so diverse. And if I was to try and, find this thing which knits them together, it would be really difficult for me, if I'm honest, because the way that my sort of leadership coaching happens is it's around working with an organization that I work within, and they love doing Soma Breath on a Wednesday. And so it's a small group organization. And some of my corporate clients who I know through LinkedIn connections saw that I was doing Soma Breath and they just decided to come along, and now they come every week. So, what really draws them together, I think it's just this desire to really connect more fully to your experience. And if I look at the demographic, it's a mix of men and women, and the age group is, I think if I look at it, my youngest clients are probably early 20s, and then my oldest client is 68.
Nice.
Yeah. So and so that's a really broad, selection of people, which just goes to show how versatile breathwork is, and the kind of work that I
Absolutely.
do.
That's great. Can you share some of the like stories of the benefits that people have had from the work that you've done with them?
Yeah, okay. So within the Soma Breath itself, so when you're just doing so when I'm doing Soma Breath, whether I mix that with other things, I think the results are, I'm going to say the same, but they're as powerful. So I've done energy healing work with people where they've had transformational shifts by connecting to their feelings, and really connecting to their emotions and releasing that.
Uh-huh.
When you overlay Soma Breath, I think what happens is it happens faster, because the breath work helps you get more into the body and out of the head, which is really where people get stuck. If I think about people who've made changes, one of my clients was had a heart attack. One of the contraindications for Soma Breath is that if you have had a heart issue, that you don't do the breath retentions, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But through rhythmic breathing, she was able to release a lot of pain across her chest. So that because when she laid down, she couldn't actually physically lay down on her chest; it was too painful. She couldn't do yoga classes. She was feeling quite depleted of energy. But after just 1 month, which is only 4 classes of Soma Breath, the pain across her chest had disappeared. And now she's going through a yoga teacher training course and managing to keep up with the intensity of that as well. So I think that's a really great transformation, from doing well, I could say 2/3 of Soma Breath because she's not doing the breath retention part.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. What would you say would be the most random result you've seen from,
Random result.
yeah, the like totally unexpected?
So unexpected would be, I think one of my clients who, from the business context, has been coming to the Soma Breath sessions and wrote to me to say, I don't know what it is about this work, but this work has helped me to see everything I do at work from a different perspective. It's helped me to connect more fully to myself, but it actually helped me fix my relationship with my family members, which weren't going so well, because I was able to see things differently by connecting through Soma Breath. Now, without even getting into the mechanics of how or the why, all this person knew was that I've been doing this thing and suddenly my life changed. And I was able to reconnect to myself. I was able to reconnect to my feelings. I was able to take a higher perspective. And I was actually had the courage to go and have conversations which were really uncomfortable.
That's awesome. I
And I think
love
that was,
that.
it's random for me because it's the context, and it was also very unexpected.
Yeah. Was it like a super A-type sort of personality? Just
I'm
out
not
of
sure it was an A
curiosity.
type. Yeah, I don't think it was so much an A type. I think it was random for me because it was somebody I completely know from a business context. And there hasn't been any coaching involved, so it's not through a coaching process. It was more I've just been coming to your Soma Breath classes, and this is what's been happening for me.
No, that's really cool. That makes more sense in context too, because like if you were coaching, I could see the layering of that a little bit more. But to be doing a breathwork class, that'd be kind of like if you went to yoga and you'd never been going to yoga, and then all of a sudden you started seeing shifts in other areas of your life because the yoga had helped you to be more present in
Yeah,
your body. Which I feel like so often in life people just get really dispersed and struggle to be present in their body and in dialogue with other people, and people like notice consciously or subconsciously when other people are not fully engaged with them. They tend to be less feel less respected and so many other things. So yeah, it definitely makes sense. to me.
Yeah, and I think the other things that have come up really have been around people saying, so on workshops that I've delivered, if it's even on a live where I don't have the feedback directly, I get the feedback later, where people might say the guided visualization that you did before or during the Soma Breath journey was so powerful. I thought it was this, but actually it turned out to be that. And either I had a massive release, or I cried, or I was able to let go of something that I wasn't even aware that I was carrying around. And
I love
I,
that.
I love those stories because I feel that the power of this work is you don't need to get into the story, and it doesn't have to be a headed activity. It just has to be around how are you feeling. Let's connect into those feelings. Let's find out what's behind those feelings, and let's use breath work to release them.
Oh, that's fantastic. Can you talk to us a little bit more about like the science behind the breath work?
Yeah, okay. So there's a couple of different elements to Soma Breath and what we do in Soma Breath. And there's some other work that I do which is less scientific and it's much more about just feelings. And that's what I layer across. So in terms of breath work, the Soma Breath that we do is a combination of rhythmic breathing. So this is breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth, and it's a combination of intermittent hypoxia. So you're going into a slightly hypoxic state for a very short period of time.
So for people who don't know what that word means, can you define it for them?
Uh, so it's where you breathe all the air out of your lungs and you hold your breath. And if I was using one of my oximeters, then your oxygen saturation would go below what's normal for you. So most people would be at say 98%, 99% oxygenation. In hypoxia, you're dropping down to below 80. So, in a
Ah,
scientific sense, you're actually dropping the saturation of oxygen in your blood and you're increasing the amount of carbon dioxide in your body. So, you're going
fascinating.
into a hypoxic state for a little while. And we're using rhythmic breathing from a scientific perspective. What rhythmic breathing does is it brings you into a state of complete coherence. And what that means is that your heart rate's going in a very regular sinusoidal rhythm. Most of us go throughout our day with quite an irregular heartbeat because we're responding and reacting to what's going on. So, the science behind this is that you're hyperoxygenating your body, so you're getting a lot of oxygen in. We're putting you in a coherent state or a relaxed state, depending upon the type of breathing that we're doing. So, we can do different breathing techniques to elicit those states. And then we do intermittent hypoxia, which helps to reset your entire system. So that brief period actually helps to reset your body and helps to actually strengthen your nervous system as well.
Fascinating.
So the science would be, if I think about it more from a scientific perspective, what is this really doing for you? We're putting you into a state where you're reversing the physiological signs of stress. So that's what the breathing technique does. So it really does reverse the firing and the wiring of stress hormones in your body. And then you're overlaying that with meta programming. So meta programming is where when you're in that very sort of trance-like state, I am then saying very positive affirmations, which because you're more open and receptive, they're going to help you rewire your thinking. And the intermittent hypoxia helps because you're even more open during those states as well.
Cool. All right, all right. So, um, our next important question before we start our activity would be what are some contraindications for people to be aware of in case they're watching on either of our feeds now or later to know this
Yeah.
basically contraindication. If you
Okay.
have these things, if you are experiencing these things, do not do the activity or he will modify it for the things that you are able to do within these contraindications, which will be clearly articulated here momentarily. We would like you to not die or be hurt in any way.
Yeah.
If you continue on with this program, this is your release of liability at this point.
Yeah, definitely. So the contraindications are acute somatic and viral diseases, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or COPD-2 and COPD-3, chronic diseases with symptoms of decompensation or terminal illness, individual intolerance of oxygen insufficiency. So if you really have an intolerance to low levels of oxygen, you shouldn't do it. Cancer, unless intermittent hypoxic training has been prescribed by a doctor, and people with epilepsy, pacemakers, heart arrhythmias, unless this is under the direction of a medical professional. So it's that list, but really anything that is around the heart rhythms. So people who have had irregular heartbeats. And the part that you shouldn't do is the breath retentions. So anybody can do the rhythmic breathing, and the rhythmic breathing is quite natural and quite normal, but we're bringing a consciousness to it. But when it comes to the breath retentions, if you have anything on that list, when I would direct you to hold your breath, you would just keep breathing in a regular rhythm. And you'll still have the benefits of being in a really beautiful coherent state or a really relaxed state. I think today the track I've got is for coherence. So you're in that really nice, neutral feeling state.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but I would not recommend holding your breath for the second part.
Okay. Fair enough. And Tim, do you have your page up at all?
I do have my page up,
Do you have
and
any questions or comments which have come up from your people?
I don't, just looking at that.
Okay. I don't have any yet on my side either. So I just wanted to check in to make sure that if there was anybody that wanted to be heard, that they had that opportunity for us to get to check in. All right. So populations or people, conditions or whatnot specifically that are helped by the Soma breath work. I think you had talked about depression and anxiety can be helped by the breath work.
Yeah, so I mean, breath work, I think benefits everyone. I think
I
it's
would agree.
really important for people to be more conscious of their breathing, mainly because if you think about it as an archetype, particularly those people who are working in offices, we tend to, and I know this from working in an office for such a long time, you tend to do this over your computer. It's just what you do.
Yeah.
And you're shallow breathing at the same time because you're only breathing from the upper part of your chest. When you bring a consciousness and awareness to your breath work, to your breathing, and do something like breath work, the invitation is to breathe fully into the full capacity of your lungs. And so that really opens your whole body up to allow a greater exchange of air, a greater exchange of toxins out of your body. But the specific benefits for intermittent hypoxic training, which is part of what Soma Breath is about, would be if you've got chronic heart and lung diseases, if you suffer from hypertension, asthma or chronic bronchitis, liver, pancreatic diseases, anxiety and depression,
Interesting.
iron deficiency and anemia, and a lack of energy or fatigue.
Yeah, that's all really fascinating. One of the many reasons I was so excited to see you on here for activity today is because my whole life I've found myself like not breathing enough. Like I literally catch myself not breathing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, you should do that breathing thing. And I'm not even necessarily that stressed out consciously. I'm just kind of like doing my thing and I'm like, oh yeah, I should do that. Just
Just bring
fascinating.
awareness to it.
It's
Just,
just bringing awareness and trying to be like, okay, now we need to focus more on our breathing and not just whatever that we're doing that's causing us to not want to.
well, those things that are causing us to not want to breathe are usually the things that we should also pay attention to and say, why am I anxious? Why am I stressed?
Yeah, why is there such like a constant like level of anxiety?
The
I've
constant
gotten
low
way
grade
better about it. It
anxiety
doesn't
that
happen nearly as much as it used to. But
good.
every once in a while, it's just like, hmm, wow, it's just been really tired lately. Is it because I'm so stressed out and I'm not breathing?
Could be. It could be. What I actually find is that when people do breath work for a period of time, it actually changes their physiology. And so they find themselves more elevated. They make different choices about food, and they just become more aware.
Yeah.
And so for you, a regular breathing practice might change your awareness.
Yeah, regular breathing sounds like a really what? People do that? They just like regularly like just breathe.
No. Well, the funny thing is, most
Range.
people think it's just automatic, but truth is, you can focus on it too.
Yeah, to just have people journal like before and after effects, be like, just hey, this is how I normally feel, and then like this is how I feel like 2 sessions in to like actually breathing. Oh look, like now I breathe regularly, and this is how much better life choices happened when I was breathing regularly.
Not feeling so dead.
right? Do you
Yeah.
want to make good choices? Don't do drugs. Kids, breathe regularly.
Breathe regularly all the time.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I just think that I'm really
A lot of people, they just, I mean, it's true. What you're saying on one level is completely true. People need to breathe better and more regularly.
yeah, I feel like if you just laugh more, it helps facilitate more breathing, right? So you gotta get in comedy somewhere. You can't laugh at yourself, folks. Like that's oh, I don't even know what to tell you. They're just like I have to watch comedy on Netflix all the time because I don't think I'm funny at all. Like it's just way too serious. They're just those people that walk around. They're like, ah, so good. All right, my friend, what have you got for us?
What have I got for you?
What you got for
Um,
us?
so I have two things for you. I thought I got a two-part activity.
Cool.
First part would be to help you to connect into your emotions and feelings in your body. So it's
Okay.
simple, but again, using breath. So we're looking at it from breathing from one perspective. And then the other part was going to, and will be, a one round of Soma Breath to give people an experience of what Soma Breath is about.
Fantastic. I love it. Let's do it.
How's that
Yep.
sound?
It sounds great.
Okay, good.
I'm excited. I'll try and be
Excited,
serious for like however
excited to
many minutes
breathe?
this is required.
Well, this is your opportunity to breathe. So get ready.
I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. So glad we get to share this together.
I'm, yeah, me too. Although people have been saying to me, "Do you want to go and do a breathwork class?" I'm like, there's a lung disease going around right now. I don't think people want to get into the same room and breathe together. It's like, seriously, can we do it by Zoom? It's a lot safer.
Uh,
True story. People have been asking. No,
I believe you. I
by
believe
Zoom.
you. They're like, we know that we need to strengthen our lungs. And you're like, I get it. Can we do it like socially distanced?
Correct.
Because the whole mask thing and breathing, that's just seems counterintuitive.
Yes. Blocks a little bit of the flow of the oxygen, despite what everybody says.
Yes.
Yes. Take your mask off for this next activity.
Come to a properly socially distanced space to be able to remove your mask to properly engage in this activity, please, ladies and gentlemen. Honor your space and
Oh,
those around you.
gosh. To find my center. To talk about emotions, the seriousness of emotions. We're looking at the other side of the emotions.
Emotions have a wide range, including laughter and joy, and just
They
like all
do.
those different things. Like there's so much seriousness and negativity in the world right now. Sometimes it's good to just be like silly and ridiculous and just like allow yourself to have that experience. It brings its own level of relaxation.
Yes. Okay. All right. So,
So
understanding the emotions. How does that sound?
that's great.
Good. All right. So, before we go into the Soma Breath journey, um,
So when I was a little kid, I used to have these laugh attacks. They don't happen very often. So I was a little kid, and I literally had to. My friends and I God, I think it was third grade, and so my friends got kicked out of class, and I was still in class. I was trying to keep it together so bad, and they were like at the door trying to be ridiculous, trying to get me kicked out of class as well. And so I eventually just like fell out of my chair, and my teacher's like, "Get out!" And I used to, oh God, I don't even know when it stopped. I think I got a hold of it like in high school, but I literally, people would just look at me the wrong way and I would fall on the floor and like laugh so hard that I would just pouring tears. Like I couldn't breathe. And I'd literally just be like rolling around on the ground, just like laughing hysterically. And so every once in a while, so I just look at somebody, I'm like, nope.
so I'm going to do my best not to look at you for the
Yeah,
next
don't.
15
No, it's
minutes.
just we're just gonna be like close. It's fine. I just wanted to share that adorable story about laughter, and Yeah, just the wonder of childhood, the
I know, but the
beauty.
thing is, once you start laughing, I feel like I'm going to fall off my chair or get kicked out of the Zoom room or something. So just
Only grown-ups around here, I'd be like, well, I better leave too. Oh, okay. I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
I am ready. So if you've been laughing along with us, just take a moment to center yourself. And you can do that by taking a few deep breaths all the way down into your body. So in through the nose, just out through the mouth, and just relax. And just do that a couple of times. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. There we go. So, our emotions, the other emotions, the ones we trap, the ones we deny, the ones we push into our body, not the laughing ones, they're the ones we let out really easily. But there's a whole range of other emotions that actually get trapped in our body. And what I wanted to share today with people is there's actually a really easy way for people to release some of those trapped feelings. And it requires um, working with the breath, but it's a three-step process. And the three steps are firstly to get into the understanding of what's happening. So when a feeling comes up, we often kind of just deny it, push it away, particularly if we don't like it, we push it down, push it away. And what can happen to us is that if we continue to do this, it creates a blockage in our body, and that could lead to a
Mhm.
physical illness. Um, all emotions are looking for in all the training I've done is understanding, acceptance, and a way to be released, because it's the denial of the repressed emotions that actually creates the challenges, the physical challenges that we sometimes have. For my own story around this, I was told that I was deaf when I was very young, and so my left ear, and I would never get my hearing back, and so I carried around this belief, but actually I had blocked the entire feeling of the left side of my head.
Oh, wow.
So it was so crazy that I could do this and it would be like nothing, like I had no
Nothing.
feeling, there's nothing, it's like tapping on wood,
It's
nothing there.
crazy.
But I could do this and I could hear it and I could feel it like everybody else.
Huh.
But then over a period of time of reconnecting to feelings and emotions about this issue, I could now do this and actually hear it and feel it.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
in
so
the last
cool.
Yeah, and in the last five years since I had a hearing test, I had a hearing test in 2015. It was the same as it's been since I was 4 years old. And then I had a hearing test when I in 2019, and the hearing in my left ear is actually increased by 10 to 20%,
Oh, that's so great.
which is
Congratulations.
thank you, which isn't a huge increase, but
But
it's an
it's
increase.
something.
Well, in a way, it is a huge increase because if you're like a little kid and you stick your finger in your ear and you can't hear anything for most of your life, when I do that now, if I was to just wiggle around my like this with my finger, I can actually hear that or hear that in my ear.
That's so
And so then
great.
to have the scientific proof through a hearing test to show that it's actually changed, it's all come about through this reconnection to the feelings and the story or whatever else has been going on in relation to this issue. But at the same time, when I was most stressed and most blocked, the hearing in my right ear disappeared for a period of time.
Hmm.
So that's another thing that can happen is that when you get really stressed or you get really anxious or you get really burned out, for want of another way of putting it, for me, my hearing would shut down.
Interesting.
And so I would be almost completely deaf in both ears.
Yikes.
Yeah. And
Good
that would then
incentive
come
to not
back.
let yourself get stressed
Exactly. Exactly. But the story that I had to work on, the story that I had to understand was that I had actually stopped listening to myself. And so
Yeah.
when I started listening to myself, when I stepped out of the stressful work, when I stepped out of the corporate job, that's when it stopped happening.
Ah.
And so it was a repeated experience that kept coming back at my most stressed times. And so part of the work that I then started to do was really connecting to feelings and emotions rather than denying them. And it can be an uncomfortable process, but all feelings are looking for is an understanding. So that was the first step, is to get under the resistance to something. So a lot of our feelings are a resistance, they're a reaction to something, but the ones that we push away, they're a resistance to something that has happened or that is happening. It's a non-acceptance of reality.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you tell that story because I've been thinking about it. So I've struggled with low back pain my whole life, but more concentrated in the last 10 years with my two low back surgeries. Because like I
Hmm.
couldn't, 5 years ago, I was in a wheelchair for 4 months. I couldn't walk more than 10 feet at a time because I was in such
Hmm.
debilitating pain. And since I've gone on this journey in alignment with my soul's purpose for global equine affiliates and helping to increase visibility for the equine therapy and learning field and other people who are empowering others, my low back hasn't been hurting as much. Like it's still something that I have to be conscious of, and sometimes it hurts, but like it's a night and day difference. And I had a little bit of attention on it, but like now that you share that, I'm like, oh, that makes like so much more sense.
Yeah, each of us may have something that we're not paying attention to,
Yeah.
which is causing a pain. But actually, if you get underneath it, it's more than just the physical pain, it's the emotions that go along with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
All sorts of things come up when you're not in alignment with yourself.
exactly, exactly. So the first step is to really understand, get under the understanding or to get under the standing that you're taking and the resistance that you're taking to the reality of your situation. The next step would be to acknowledge, to essentially validate that emotion, that it has a purpose, that it exists. As I said, when something comes up, we consciously or subconsciously go, I'm just going to push that down. I'm just going
Yeah.
to push that away. I'm just going to store that somewhere for now. I'm not going to listen to that right now. I don't have time. And then the third step is really the complete acceptance without judgment of that feeling or that emotion. And what I find is that people cognitively understand the concept of acceptance, and it's easy to say, oh, yeah, I can accept that. But it's actually the physical action of acceptance which requires compassion, and it can require, a deep feeling of love and gratitude to whatever that divine messenger is from the body.
Yeah. Grace.
Yeah, humility. Um, and so that's the three steps in starting to get in touch with your emotions, is to understand, to acknowledge, and to accept. And so what I can do is now guide you through how this works. So this is what I would do with a client in terms of guiding them through this process. But I also know that it's something, and I've done this with other people in workshops, where you can do this for yourself as well. I mean, sometimes it helps to have guidance
Yeah.
and it helps to have somebody to integrate with. But this is definitely an activity that I encourage people to explore for themselves. So maybe you'd like to be a willing participant.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Please.
Oh, okay. So, what my invitation to you is to close your eyes and just relax into your own body. So, just feel your shoulders relaxing and just see if there's a feeling or an emotion that you've been ignoring that you'd like to work on today. So, just see if something comes up for you. Maybe an issue that's been hanging around.
Okay.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do I have to
So,
share what it is?
no, you don't. Not in this context. What you can do is just find that feeling in your body. And so, just to help people who are maybe listening to this, maybe talk through the feeling where it is in your body.
Pain in my left shoulder randomly keeps coming up.
Okay,
I
so
wouldn't have thought it would be living there, but okay.
okay, we're just going to go with this.
Sure.
So there's something in your left shoulder. So what I'd like you to do is just bring a feeling of love and gratitude from your heart into that feeling in your left shoulder. And as you sort of generate that feeling of gratitude for this feeling being there, see if you can give the feeling a shape or a color.
Okay.
What shape is it and what color is it?
It's like this.
Okay. And does it have a color?
It's light green.
Okay. So there's a light green oblong type object in your left shoulder.
Hmm.
Just breathe into that place, breathe into that feeling, the sense of peace and gratitude, and really feel grateful to this feeling for being there with you. And just ask this feeling, or just acknowledge it first. So say thank you in your own mind's eye. Just say thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing my attention to you. And then ask it, what is it that you need from me? And when you have an answer, again, from a place of gratitude, breathe into that feeling.
Okay.
And keep breathing, just gently, directing your intention to that place. And just see if that feeling shifts to somewhere else.
Okay.
Okay, so where is this new feeling?
Like in the palm of my left hand.
Okay, so give it a shape and a color of
Like
gratitude.
a black flat stone,
Okay,
shiny.
so just have gratitude for that black, shiny, flat stone. Thank it for being there. Acknowledge its presence. And just ask it, what is it that you need from me? And when you have the answer, send so much love to that flat, black, shiny stone. And see if it shifts, or changes, moves somewhere else.
One feels more stuck.
Just keep breathing into that place.
It did shift a little bit to like in my left collarbone.
Okay. So has it moved completely from your palm, or do you need to keep breathing into that place?
I need to keep breathing into the place.
Yeah. Keep sending love, gratitude. I think the stone's talking to you.
I know. I'm really curious to see who's singing me and what they're saying. I usually do a better job of closing it out, but it's funny. So it's interesting. So it's like out of my palms is an energetic release, but it feels like it'll take a while for it to go through.
Yeah. And that's okay. So this is one of those things that you can return to, is to really get an understanding of why it's there and
Mm,
spend some more time with that particular feeling.
I shall.
Yeah. And so you can keep tracing these feelings around your body and getting the messages for why they're there and what is it that they need from you. And through breath work or through breathing, you can breathe into those places using a technique like Soma Breath, using a more gentle breathing technique. What I find though is that at some point, the feelings will get stuck, and they tend to get stuck around here.
That's interesting.
And
People
that
get stuck in their communication.
yeah, their feeling gets stuck up here, and they get feel choked. They feel choked up. But from a lot of the work that I've done, the wisdom work, the healing work, is that this is the seat of the ego. This is
Hmm.
the part of you that wants to just hold on to these things which have become part of you for so long. Why would I want to give that up? Why would I want to let that pain go? Because I get something from holding on to it. There's a secondary benefit from me holding on to this, which people also may not be aware of. So it might be that if I continue holding on to this pain, people treat me in a certain way,
Yeah.
or I don't have to do anything about it.
Or the safety of the shadow.
Yeah, who would I be if I didn't have this thing? So, and that's why sometimes when I do this work with people, it can really, after a period of time, we finish here.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So that's a technique that I feel very strongly that people can do for themselves to help them really tap into their emotional body. I just want to ask you, without you sharing any details, when you were connecting into the feelings and you were asking them what they needed, did that resonate with you?
Yeah, it was interesting. So I had some like sharp sort of pain in my left shoulder, and as I did the work, like the pain went away, which is really
Mm-hmm.
great. And it resonated with me. Like a lot of it just wanted to be acknowledged. The emotions connected to it just acknowledged so that they could be let go instead of shoved away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sometimes the messages might be a little bit more assertive, shall we say, about maybe the way that you deal with yourself. Because sometimes feelings that and without showing any confidence, as people that I've worked with said, that feeling comes up and it's like, I'm scared.
Oh yeah.
Or, I feel alone, or and it's really it's like, oh, wow, I never noticed that about myself. How interesting.
Yeah.
And so getting curious about that for individuals, get curious about that for themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
So what we can do is, particularly when we have trapped emotions, is we can use we can use two things. We can use a shaking, so you can use shaking to really shake those things out, like putting on a beat track and just shaking your body around and just really releasing all that energy. Yeah. Or we can do something like Soma Breath, which was the next part of today's activity, where I'll put on a track, I'll put on some music, and you, given that you've identified something in your body, could actually use your intention to breathe into that part of your body and breathe out. So breathe in, breathe out through that energy center. Some of the work that I do with my group is to share with them the energy centers related to their birthday, where they tend to trap a lot of their emotions, and so encourage them to breathe in and out of that place.
Energy centers for their birthday.
So it's overlaying the different months of your birthday onto ten chakras on your body. So there's most people know the chakra system is seven. The system that I work with is 10, where there's one is below your feet, and then number nine and number 10 are outside of your body.
Interesting.
And then so when you overlay numbers for people's birthdays, so 1 through to 12 for the month,
Mm-hmm.
that will then correspond to one of the energy centers in your body. And breathing in and out of that place can help people also release, a primary energetic pattern that they carry.
Fascinating.
So I checked yours. Yours was May.
It is. It's true.
Yeah.
Turns 40 on May 25th.
And so the energy center for you actually is the heart center. And the challenge that I would teach if we were doing a much longer workshop would be the energy pattern of betrayal,
Ah,
where
interesting.
betraying emotions, betraying yourself with your emotions, betraying others with your emotions. So breathing in and out of your heart center, which actually really interesting, is not so far. It's sort of between your heart and your throat. this
So like
month.
any person born in May, that's what they would have to work
They could, yes.
on. Sorry, all those Tauruses and Geminis out there. That's just what you.
It's where the energy pattern of betrayal tends to reside itself. But so helping people to breathe in and out of those centers. So there's two different ways that I do the work. It's to breathe into that place, where people aren't necessarily interested in going into all the numerology of their birthday. But for the people who are interested, is to breathe in and out of um, the numerology of their birthday overlaid on their body, which for you would be the heart center.
Okay.
So, am I able to share a screen? You
I
need to make
I don't know.
you need to make me a host.
Ha- okay, I get to learn how to do a thing. I don't know how to do that.
Click on
Hold on.
participant.
Give me a second. I'm like, I'll figure it out. Make host. I did it.
Yay! Awesome. So I'm going to share my screen and put on some music. So share computer sound, and you're going to see my DJ deck.
Cool.
So for this, my invitation to anybody who is listening is to close your eyes, find a comfortable seated position, and a place where you won't actually fall over.
Don't fall over. It's a terrible idea.
Or you can lay down. And
Lay
for this, we're
down.
going to breathe all the way in through the nose, into the complete belly breath, all the way down into your belly. Breathe all the way out of your mouth. And we're going to do this in a 4-4 rhythm. There's going to be a beat count. I'm going to guide this part of the journey. It's going to be 12 minutes. And when we get to the breath inhalation, the breath holds or the breath retentions,
I'm
breathe
like
all the
12
way in.
minutes. All right.
Ah, we can do it shorter.
Oh, it's okay.
So what we can do is we can breathe all the way in through the where was I? Breathe all the way in, breathe all the way out, and hold your breath.
Okay.
And when you do that, drop your head forward.
Okay.
That will create a lock so that you will be discouraged from holding your breath, from taking a breath.
Okay.
And then we're going to reverse that by breathing all the way in. And then you're going to hold your breath on the inhalation. And then I'm going to time all of this, and you're just going to return to a natural breathing after that.
Do my best.
Okay. And I reckon we can do this in 8 minutes. How does that sound?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm all for the new experience. Brand new
All right.
experience for me.
All right. So you're going to breathe. Where are you going to breathe again?
I'm gonna breathe into my heart.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm gonna try and figure out how to do that
With your intention.
with
So
my
you're just going
intention.
to imagine.
And
Yeah.
and then I'm going to do diaphragmatic breathing, right?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. That
Ready?
spot underneath your ribs, at the bottom of your sternum, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, for those of you who don't know where your diaphragm is. Just
All
try
the way
not to make
down
any
into your
assumptions
belly.
in life. Okay.
Cool. Let's go.
Am I closing my eyes?
Yes.
Close my eyes.
Just check you can hear that. Can you hear the music?
No, you have to make it louder.
Um, so let me just go back to share computer sound. This sometimes happens as well with sharing a sound over the internet.
Heard a car. I'm trying to raise it on my side too, but then you're going to get really
Okay.
technology.
Can you hear that?
All I hear is static.
How interesting. Doesn't look like it's going to work today with the sharing of the sound. Maybe it's something on my side.
Because you have your earphones on.
Yeah, let's go.
There we go.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right, closing eyes down.
Okay. I had to turn it down a little bit more now. We're good.
Just bring your intention down into your heart center. Just breathe in and out of your heart center. Just take a deep breath in. Breathe out through the mouth. Out through the mouth. Do the rhythmic breathing. Just as you breathe in, just imagine your whole body is being filled with lights. As you call that energy in through your heart. Feel your body relaxing with each exhalation. Really calling that prana in through the heart center.
Tim, I can't hear you very well.
As you breathe in through the heart center, just allow your heart to move a little bit wider. urge to breathe, you can breathe in very quickly and then out again. And keep holding your breath. Can you repeat that as often as you need to? But see if you can go beyond the comfort zone. As you hold your breath, press pause, taking a pause from life, allowing yourself to go deeper. Keep holding. Keep connecting to the stillness. When you get that big urge to breathe, breathe all the way in. Come on. Hold your breath and just send your intention, your awareness around your spinal column, spiraling it around all the way up and out of your third eye, and sending your intention out of your third eye as you hold your breath. Just imagine your entire field is being filled with your intention and your light. You're sending messages to your higher self, allowing yourself to receive your own wisdom, projecting a future as if it's already happened. And when you're ready, you can release with a sigh or an ah. Return to your normal breathing. Just allow yourself to bathe in this new energy, this new intention, this new feeling. When you're ready, just bring yourself back to your awareness. Open your eyes. How do you feel?
I was really good. I feel like I have more oxygen. It sounds so funny to say, but it's really true. Like my whole brain just feels more oxygenated. It's really cool. I can't stop smiling like these giant sounds. Like, that's so good.
How is your breath retention?
Um, it was interesting. So like at first I definitely was like, am I doing this right? So that was a little bit It's like, was I supposed to do more rhythmic? Was I supposed to hold it for longer in the beginning? So that was like a funny thing just for me to be like, I'm not sure. And just like letting myself like feel those emotions and like letting them go, like not letting things just like be stuck in my body. And then like, there was that momentary thought that came up that was just like, oh, there might be a whole bunch of people that see this at some time. That'll be interesting. And like, yep, there she is, eyes closed, just breathing, doing a thing, and then like, and that so that thought came, and then it like went away, and then I'm just like, this is just this beautiful, authentic experience, and isn't that nice? And I'm getting these wonderful benefits, and so like all this gratitude, like, for you, Tim, getting to be here and getting to process things, and my cells are like, thank you for finally giving us oxygen. It's so nice. Uh,
I think you're the person who's laughed the most during my
During a breathing session.
yeah, yeah, and that's good. It's good
Thank you. Yeah.
because
Thank you for
because I've
receiving that experience.
because I've laughed a lot as well. I could see what was happening as because obviously I can see you on the camera, and I was thinking, is she laughing?
Is she laughing while she's breathing?
Brilliant.
But yeah, but not laughing at the experience,
Yeah, no,
laughing through the experience. Like that it
exactly.
was just part of the emotions, like doing what needed to be done. And because that is definitely like one of the ways that I process emotion is through laughter. It's not like
So
a deflection thing. It's just yeah.
yeah, and that's and all of this is valid because when we start to do breathing, we bring oxygen back into our bodies. We then tend to find where the stuff is stuck. So the breath retentions, in particular, is where people feel the discomfort. And there's a really great propensity. I need to breathe. I need to breathe.
I
But you
definitely
know,
had that feeling.
well,
Of
in a
like talking myself through like you're not going to die, you're still in control, you can hold it a little bit longer. When I started to see the blue like little sparks in my brain, I was like, now we can breathe.
yeah. So there's blue sparks. That's the good stuff. So if you hold it just a little bit longer, you see more of those.
Yeah, no, it was cool. It was like blue sparks that oh gosh, what am I trying to think of? Like the patterns that do the morphe thing.
Oh yeah, the kaleidoscope.
Yeah, it was like one of those started just like
Yeah.
super briefly because then I was like breathing is important. Um, but no, it was interesting, like the like almost like a leaf flowery
Hmm.
sort of thing that was yeah, like a mandala.
And I think with more practice with this type of when you do this more often and as you have more practice, the reflection point, you know, people say, "Oh, I made it." They get to that point where they don't know whether they're not breathing or they are breathing. They don't feel the need to breathe, and they're just in this complete state where I might be saying, "Now take, you know, breathe all the way," and they're like, "No, no, leave me here. I'm happy here." But
Interesting.
and that's that place you end up is just this breathless state, which is what we call the soma state.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
so normally the breath retentions would be longer. I shortened them for you because you haven't done this before.
Thank you.
Um,
Because yeah, I definitely would have hit like a panic place, and I'm like, nope, that's not happening.
no, and yeah, so that's essentially a one round of soma breath. So we would normally do four, 3 or 4 of those in a session.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely put that into my daily practice more. Different things I need to fold in, like this meditation stuff people keep telling me about. I'm like, that sounds cool.
I don't know, but meditation keeps you in the mind. Breathing gets you back into the body.
Yeah, everything. Everything has its place. You know, it's interesting that you say that meditation keeps you in the mind because, like, when I think of meditation, like what it would be for me is not being in the mind. For me, like when I think of meditation, I think of being at one with everything and letting go of the mind.
I agree with you, but my experience, this is my own personal experience of trying this over many, many years, is that I keep trying to shoo those thoughts out of my mind. And so I don't actually get to that point of feeling the stillness. And it's just one of the, you know, we're all different, we're all built different.
Yeah,
So for me, breath work really takes me out of the mind and away from that feeling of, oh, am I there yet?
interesting. When I, yeah, no, that's cool. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Like when on the few times that I have meditated, like especially when I'm out with my horses and I'm able to just like sit in the grass and the horses are just eating the grass around me and I just get to sit and be there in stillness.
Hmm.
My mind, like I'm not engaged with my mind. I'm just engaged in beingness
In the
with
present
my,
moment.
yeah, with my
Yeah.
horses. And it's such a bliss state to just get to let go of that internal tape of like all the thoughts, the worries, the busyness of the day and just be and feel the air and the sunlight and the energy and the just the beautiful stillness and oneness with the world, just giving ourselves
Sounds
permission.
wonderful.
It is, yes. Yes, to give ourselves permission to go be in nature. That's why I think nature is just so wonderful because if you don't have horses, just being able to go hiking and be away from people and like find a stream or just like a beautiful spot where you find that serene connection to nature.
Mm-hmm.
to just give yourself permission to be.
Oh, I want to be there right
As soon as we get off the Zoom call,
now.
go find a spot in nature. Go spend some time being decompressed from the technological connection. Well, Tim, that was so lovely. And I really appreciate your time and your wisdom to bring forth to me and to the global community. And I hope that more people are able to see this and be connected to you for the SOMA work, for the
Thank
leadership.
you.
And you're welcome, and leadership and life coaching. Um, and I really look forward to getting to laugh and chat with you more in the future, because it's lovely to have people to get to laugh so in such a relaxed space.
It's been really fun. It's been really fun to be here with you. So thank you for letting me share just a little slice of the work that I do.
You're very welcome, my new friend. It's so lovely, ladies and gentlemen, because Tim and I we spoke and saw each other for the first time ever just 15 minutes before we got on this call. So it's just fun. I love the authentic connection that we get to have with people on these calls, and this is different personalities, and just how easy it can be, where you could talk to anybody on the street and you just never know like what they'll get to teach you, if you just stay open. And it's just the beautiful thing I love about talking to strangers as well as friends, but just like showing up in a place and just being open to what they can teach us
Yeah, and just going with the flow.
and just going with the flow. Like, you never know what kind of beautiful conversation will find its way. All
Well,
right.
thank you again.
You're very welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, well, you're the host now. Do I have to switch?
Oh,
Can you,
I,
do I switch it back to, oh, no, you have to switch it back to me. Can I be the host again? What happened? You muted yourself.
yeah, I'm
You're like,
really
no, I'm
good.
not talking to you anymore. You want to regain control?
Want to
Absolutely
take
not.
that away from me? There you
No,
go.
none for you. All right. Now we will end the live. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for all who have watched and will be watching in the future. I appreciate you. And next week we will be having someone presenting from Tasmania.
Wow.
I know, I'm very excited. Nash Mackey will be coming to present. He's an amazing life coach from Tasmania, and I believe his presentation is next week. We just get to continue collecting more and more people. And if you know someone who has a really helpful and empowering technique or skill set that would like to share on the show, please do connect with me. Or if you know someone that has a profound story with horses that they would like to share, I would love to be able to share that with the public. So again, Horsepower Empowerment Through Connection is the YouTube channel, and please find Tim Snell on Facebook. We will put up links to be able to easily find him at a later date.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.